This podcast is proudly brought to you in part by our wizards on Patreon. This week's super wizard shout out goes to Christina C. Thank you so much, Christina. If you would like to become a wizard and support positive content, you can head over to patreon.com/MissMaryLou. That's patreon.com/MissMaryLou. I am not a product of my circumstances. I am a product of my decisions. Stephen Covey. I really loved this quote. Something about it felt really right. I tend to get bogged down in the situations I'm in, right? Like, situations can just have an impact on me emotionally, etc., etc., and it can be really hard not to let those moments in time like define you just because of what happened. It can totally be instead about how you choose to act in those circumstances, because you don't have any control over the world, right? None. So you can make decisions based on things happening around you to make you feel a little better and, yes, be a great person. Hello, good morning, and welcome back to another episode of PositiviTea. I am your host, Miss Mary Lou Ryan, and today I'm doing things a little bit differently. I am reforming the podcast to be a solo podcast, just for me. Don't worry, Jacob and I are still madly in love, and he's wonderful and everything. It's just time to make this a solo endeavor, so I hope that you will still love it. And this is going to be an experiment. I'm going to try to stick to the same format. Things might be changing. We will have to see. But regardless, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see my actually recently reorganized office space in this tiny corner of our kitchen. Jacob had the idea the other day to, instead of have these two long skinny desks, instead of just on the wall where the window is, to make it into an L shape, which is more conducive for working. And it's been great. Put a shelf in for the printer, all this stuff. There's lots of love and lots of DIY magic in here. And it's just a generally positive, airy sort of space. So I am really thrilled to be sitting in this, it's really a brand new space. There's something about just putting a little extra love and care into an area to make it something that you freaking are crazy about. It makes me feel good. The space is cozy and very hygge, and it just kind of radiates off of it. And I like sitting here. And I have a new fuzzy chair that is spinny, and also my cats like it. And you can't see if they try to tear it up with their claws because it's fuzzy anyway. Anywho, I have a tea I'm drinking today, of course. This is a stunning, fresh and beautiful Earl Grey. So Earl Greys, they're very common, at least in the United States, but a lot of the time it's bergamot flavoring, and bergamot is what makes a Earl Grey an Earl Grey as opposed to just a breakfast tea. And a lot of places just use flavoring, and this one is actual bergamot oil. It should smell a little bit like lime when you open up the bag, and it's stunning. And then of course some rose petals in it because I am obsessed with consuming roses. That's never a thing I thought I would say out loud, yet here we are, and it's delicious. And I'm gonna take a sip right now. I don't deserve you. No, I'm kidding. We all deserve the beauty of a real Earl Grey with some rose petals tossed in. Am I right? I would love to hear what you drink when you listen to the podcast. I know a lot of you, maybe you have some coffee in a coffee cup on your way to work when you listen, or maybe you're eating breakfast when you listen. I would just super love to know because whether it's tea or not, as long as we are together, it is a freaking tea party. Moving on back to our self care experiments. This part of the podcast, I have to say, has really transformed me. I thought this was just going to be a part where sit down, do little things for yourself here and there, etc. It would just be not the main segment. I anticipated the main segment to be the news story, and yet here we are week after week just chatting about things that we do for ourselves, and it feels like I'm just making this lovely little bouquet of awesome feel goods, and I can't even. If you haven't been following along, or if you haven't tried any of these that we've talked about in the past, I super encourage you to get it going. So, last week, I talked about trying to maintain kind of the good headspace I had been living in for the week. And this was really, going back to what I was just talking about, really pulling out all the stops and really digging into that toolbox. Because honestly, like the last week or so, I've been feeling pretty good. I've been crazy productive, like insanely productive. I have these little girl boss YouTube check-in meetings every week with a dear friend of mine, and every week is different. Sometimes it feels like we get nothing done, but we just experience a lots of the life. And then some weeks it's like, oh yeah, I launched my Patreon page, my new business cards. I changed up the videos on my website. I had some productive meetings. I did this and that. And I've been trying to keep that steam train rolling and just get out of my own way. And I have been continuing to have success in that, which, like, whoa, man, what a relief. Like, this, like, bouquet of good feels, positive toolbox, all the things. Hey, it works, apparently, at least for me. And I'm so thankful. I'm just so thankful for that because, sometimes if something happens, I still maybe get emotional in the moment, which is totally cool. And like, feel things, please don't not feel things. It's just our bodies. But that initial gut reaction, it's not always positive, but then it's like, okay, what are you feeling? Why are you feeling it? Take a step back, take a deep breath, think about it a little more. What is the correct way? Not the correct way, but what is the way you can react to this situation that makes it the most beneficial for you and anyone else involved? And I think just taking that extra step back, breathing, and be like, okay, let's go back into this without just like purely feeling all the things, be a little bit more chosen in our language. That's not the right pronunciation or whatever, but you know what I mean. It's been really, really helpful. So, was talked about that last week, kept doing it this past week, and yeah, it's been really, really good. So, going into this next week, first I was a little embarrassed to talk about this, I'm not gonna lie. Um, I have had a bit of a really bad relapse into something that I talked about, I don't know, like the first couple weeks of the podcast last year. I have been taking my phone into the bedroom at night with me and then either getting sucked into it while I should be trying to sleep or waking up in the morning and just on my phone for way too freaking long and, then I'm just hungry and headachy in bed and I haven't even had breakfast yet because I literally wake up and stare at a screen and start working. And the whole time this was happening, I was like, this doesn't feel good. This doesn't feel good. I know what it's like now to not have to do this on the other side. And it was hard. I would say it was just as hard to make the decision to stop. Just stop. Just don't even pick up the phone out of the living room, the office, wherever I am at night. Just leave it there. Walk into the bedroom, and I've been sleeping so much better. I've been sleeping so much better. And it's not only that, but I wake up and I actually get out of bed. Or if I do stay in bed, like if I wake up at a weird time or really early, it's that much easier for me to roll over and fall back to sleep. So, like, on both ends of the bedtime experience spectrum, it's just, it's been so helpful. And I do have Jacob to thank for this because we had both been feeling it and we had both been talking about how we wanted to work on sleep. And then he was like, you know what? I'm going to leave my phone on the table. Do you want to leave your phone on the table with me? And I was like, you know what? Actually, yeah. You know what? I freaking do. Let's do this again. And a big thing that had been holding me back, yes, it was almost definitely just an excuse not to do it, but my alarm clock had actually broken because I do think a key to doing this, if you're a person that needs to wake up by a certain time, or if you're like me and you work mostly afternoons and nights, then you like to just be up to be a productive human, I highly recommend an alarm clock. I just have like a cheap one from IKEA, not sponsored. And it's really cute and it has the little old-fashioned bells that ding-a-ling-ding on top. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, honestly. I don't like alarm clocks that are like lit all the time either. I find like a red or green, whatever the color lights are, glow in the room is like really detrimental to my sleep, which is why I went with the kind of clock that I did. I'm so relieved. Oh, I wish it didn't take that long, but you know what? Just be patient with yourself. I am definitely the most guilty of feeling awful about things, and not everything is your fault. In fact, most things are not your fault. And you know what helps with that is freaking sleep. Sleep without your phone in your dang room. I'm excited to keep this up freaking again, and I'm so thankful that I have been doing it. So, if y'all try this out, let me know. And, if you're stuck in a rut right now where you're on your phone all the time while you're trying to sleep, but when you wake up in the morning, it's okay. Like, just don't be mean to yourself. We're all human beings, okay? And it's gonna be okay. You can do it. We can do it together. That's why I'm here, because we're just like here to be humans and talk. Right? Am I right? Yes. Community news. Welcome back to our next segment, Community News. This is the part of the podcast where I take good news from you, the listeners, and give your little shout out, celebrate your general awesomeness. I did my weekly give me your good news shout out across all social medias at Miss Mary Lou, and I got a lot. I got a lot this week, and I am real pumped to share some awesome wizardry with you. We are actually gonna be exclusively on Instagram today. Okay, my goodness. This first one is from CJAR8989, and they said, I am done with report cards for this school year and a field day tomorrow. Freaking what? Yes, CJAR. You, my dear, are a wizard. Okay, let's just break this down for a second. So, A, you're done with report cards for the school year. The last grading hoopla, big to-do before the kiddies are out for the year. And then you get a field trip day. How nice is that? The kids, field trip days were always the best, right? Growing up, everything It was all about that gosh darn field trip. And I remember so many field trips. Like, for me, it was such an effective form of education, honestly. But for you, it's like you've worked hard, you've seen how much the kids have grown over the year and how much they've learned, and now you've done your work, they've done the things, and you just get to frickin' enjoy the day. Jar, that's amazing. Congratulations. You're a wizard. You're such a wizard. Oh my goodness. Moving right along to K Carimian, and this one is short and sweet, and honestly, it's just beautiful. Are you ready? New job, more money. Heck yeah. Oh my goodness, Kay. Okay, so first of all, let me gush about Kay a little bit. We go way back, and she is the one that actually helped inspire the creation of my whole digital world, meaning a few years ago, more than a few years ago now, she contacted a bunch of artists throughout a bunch of different mediums and was like, hey, I want to help you make something. Let's look at how you make things. Let's just like really focus on the process of making something and not so much the product, and just really take that time with yourself to learn about yourself and grow as an artist. And for me, I had the idea to do a tea party YouTube show. And here we are 3.5 years later, and like there's a freaking podcast in the world. Like, what even? What even? So Kay is a rock star, really talented actress, artist, person. I just adore Kay. They are the best. And new job, more money. That is incredible. First of all, it takes a lot of willpower to get yourself out of a situation that might feel really safe. Even if you are uncomfortable, unhappy, know you deserve to be getting paid more. I know I get stuck in this so much, like so stuck in this. And not only did you get out of that headspace, get out of that rut to look for a new job, you got the new job, and you are getting more of what you deserve in compensation. So I think that's so wonderful. I really love, okay, friends, real talk. I love hearing about people succeeding. It just makes my freaking day. And I guess, that's probably not the revelation of the century because it's a whole chunk of this podcast. But like, are you kidding me? Kay, you're a wizard. It's freaking amazing. Oh gosh, I'm so happy for you. That's just incredible. You are a super working wizard. Did you know? And I'm just really happy to get to share this stuff with you on a weekly basis. And this last bit of community news comes from T Spectral over on Instagram. And she says, the collab. Okay, so I guess like I'm partly hijacking this last community news. So what does the collab mean? Well, if you've been following me on the social places, I have a tea collection collaboration coming out. Me, like Miss Mary Lou, like what even with T Spectral. Holy whoa, holy what, like how I feel like I'm just so bad at talking about it because I'm still in such disbelief that something so magical is even happening, which I don't know why I'm in disbelief about it. It's a dream freaking come true. So T Spectral and I have been working really hard on a tea collection that's gonna be coming out very soon. So please stay tuned to all of the things so that you don't miss out when it launches. I can't give you an exact date because reasons, but I did launch the official announcement video and all the graphics are plastered everywhere. And it's just, there's so much heart, there's so much love. T Spectral, if you guys don't know, is an online only tea retailer, which is really cool because you can get his tea pretty much anywhere. And she's also local to Los Angeles and, is a legit tea sommelier. That's a thing. That's a real thing that you have to go through training that is so hard. And you have to study so hard and train your palate to be a wizard. So she's a wizard and now she has tea spectral wizard, which, like, you've heard me, gosh, I've been drinking her teas for so long now. I have had them even a lot on the podcast. Like Forest is one of her teas. All of them have some kind of like vintagey, fantastical fantasy element to them. They're all just like whimsical, beautiful. I guess technically, since I'm talking about something that's also mine, some countries might want me to say, I guess this episode is sponsored by me because I'm promoting something that I'm going to be making, but holy freaking what? I have a tea collection coming out. So, Tea Spectral, you're a wizard. And I guess I'm a wizard too. You know what? No, with confidence, I am a wizard too. A couple of tea wizards we are. Stay tuned for the collaboration collection coming soon to a teacup near you. Oh, isn't that nice? Good news, everyone! This is the part of the podcast where I take a deep dive into the depths of the interwebs to find something positive to share with all of you, and I just love this so much. Again, important to stay informed, but not good to let it drag you down to the point where you cannot function as a human being. So we're here. We're making feel-goods on the podcast. We're making feel-goods? I guess that's a thing we can say now. All right. So this story actually fell into my lap. This is not officially published in a newspaper, but I so wish that it was because it is so in line with what we're doing here, and it has like a little bit of personal significance as well. This story comes from Janet. Thank you so much, Janet. I'm so glad you love listening to the podcast, and thank you for this bit of good news. This comes from my alma mater. This is from the Marcellus School District in sleepy New York State, out in apple, corn, and cow country. So a little slice of my childhood here. And the entire third grade is doing a positivity project. Every child took rocks, just whatever little rocks, and painted them with all sorts of different colors and designs, and then wrote little positive messages on all of the different rocks. And the whole like culmination of this project is the kids are going to take these little rocks with things like kindness matters, hope, smile, be positive. They're going to take them with them over the summers and scatter them wherever they are, wherever they want a little piece of sunshine to like just make someone's freaking day. And then this little journey for these wonderful little rocks from these third graders is not over, because when someone else finds them, they can then take the rock and rehide it and repost it with the hashtag Marcellus CSD, Central School District, and hashtag other people matter. Can we just, I really have to try not to cry. If I cry, it's fine. This is literally exactly the spirit of everything this podcast is about, right? So kudos to whoever came up with this idea. I think it is literally beautiful, and I wish that all third graders everywhere would freaking do this, or of any grade, whatever. So if you feel like having a little good vibes walk through your social media, I super recommend checking out hashtag Marcellus CSD and hashtag other people matter. I only have a picture here that's just a few samples of the rocks, but they're painted with things like flowers and sunshine and lime green and polka dots and just, I think there's something really magical about the spirit of a third grader just permeating through the wonderfulness of the world. And it just feels so good. This is reminiscent, of course, of the story you remember a couple of weeks ago about don'tgiveupsigns.com, where this wonderful, fantastical woman creates these signs with things like, don't give up, you can do it, you matter, etc., etc. Just positive little glimpses of goodness. And she sells them for at cost, and it got so much popularity. She now runs a nonprofit, etc. And this is in the same vein, but it just has such a wonderful spirit to it. Just these colorful rocks hidden around. I know it would frickin' make my day. You don't even necessarily have to buy anything. You can just paint a rock. Not that I'm encouraging any sort of vandalism, etc., etc. Okay, kids, keep in mind. Oh, a part of me wishes I was back in New York just so I could find one of these little Easter eggs and repost them. So I may be in contact because I am friends with one of the third grade teachers in the school district. Maybe we'll see if I could get some kind of post together and share it with everyone because, like, how magical is this? I love the world sometimes. We need more of this. Yes. All right, friends, I think that's it for the podcast this week. I hope that you enjoyed it. Again, thank you for being patient as I figure out solo podcasting land. If you have any suggestions, of course, please be nice. Please keep it all positivity approved. I would really, really love to hear them. I really love the format that we have, and I wasn't too hard to like yak my face off for half an hour, so we'll see. I love you all. Thank you so much for listening, watching, wherever you are. Don't forget to send me your good news at Miss Mary Lou on all the social places. Of course, if you want to become a wizard on Patreon, we have our goal right now to get to 10 wizards. We are at 4 wizards right now, and it would just be super incredible to get to 10. So if you want to support positive content, think of hopping on board and helping out the Tea Party Tea Time fam. I hope that you all have just a wonderful week, and I'll see you on Thursday. This podcast is lovingly produced, directed, written, and created by yours truly, Miss Mary Lou Ryan. Our music was composed and performed by Jacob Kahn. Our logo designed by Hilda Meyer Post. And if you'd like to spread a little positivity into the universe, I would love wherever you are tea partying with us to spread the words with those who could use a little cheer in their cuppa. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next week.